So in today's video, I'm going to be using this 3.5 inch hard drive enclosure with a 250 gigabyte Seagate SATA hard drive connected via USB 3.0 port. Right there, this is a USB 3.0 cable, and it's connected to my Orange Pi 5 single board computer, and this cable goes to the back and connected right there. I don't know if you see that or not. Right there, USB 3.0 port, and I'm running Armbian on it right now. I'm gonna go to my screen capture so I can get a better view. See you there. Okay, so now I'm back on my Orange Pi PC. So let's test out the speed of this hard drive. First, it's got to install everything, and it's going to run the test. On the last video that I made, I tested a M.2 NVMe SSD, and I got about 370 megabytes per second. I just want to see how fast the transfer speed would be for using a mechanical hard drive. Okay, so that's done. Okay, so those are the results. Disk read 128 megabytes per second. Cache disk read is 118 megabytes per second. Disk write speed is 111 megabytes per second. Let's go to pimarks.com. Here it is. Let's compare the scores. I got 1640 as my score. See how that ranks. It's definitely better than a M.2 NVMe. A little bit better, not that much better. Definitely worse than M.2 NVMe. $1640. Okay. Compared to a M.2 NVMe. It's almost 11 times worse. In terms of actual speeds, I remember getting 370 megabytes per second. So let's see. Let's just compare it in those terms. It's about 65.7 times slower. I'm talking about the hard drive that I use. It's slower than an M.2 NVMe drive. Compared to a micro SD card, I usually get about 50 to 55 megabytes per second for a micro SD card. So let's see how much that is slower by. Say 55. It's about 56.6% faster than a micro SD card. Or about 2.31 times faster than a micro SD card. Okay, so this is for me. This was for my M.2 NVMe that I tested a couple of days ago. As you can see, the score is 20,977. That is how many times better? About 12.8 times better. Let's search something else. Let's search USB. Not what I wanted, no. Okay, this is something that's similar to what I used. But this person got a higher score of more than 400. It's pretty close. It's not that much of a difference. I think that's eMMC or something. 2,629 for eMMC memory. Okay, so my conclusion. Using this method is a bit slower than using a M.2 NVMe. And I'll show you another problem that this thing has. So let's say I want to reboot the computer. Like restart. Restart. So I'm rebooting again. I want to see if the USB drive can reboot or not. When I tried this on the Raspberry Pi 4, it would just crash. Booted. So I know which operating system is on it. So settings. This one doesn't have sound. No, this one doesn't have sound. So it does reboot, which is good. You could use this as a viable storage device for Orange Pi and have an operating system on it. And since it's a hard drive, it's much more durable than an M.2 NVMe. It could be written over a large number of times without data being corrupted or not being readable, because flash memory has a flaw. You could only write it a certain amount of times. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this off and boot from my SSD. Power off. I'm going to turn off the SSD, turn off the Orange Pi. Okay, turned it off, turned off the hard drive enclosure, the 3.5-inch hard drive enclosure. So now I can't boot from it. Disconnect it as well. So I'm going to turn on my Orange Pi 5 single board computer and boot from the M.2 NVMe. As you can see, the boot is much faster on the M.2 NVMe. Just booted almost instantly. I'll prove to you the USB 3.0 is a pretty viable option, and I think it's a good idea to use it if you don't want to use M.2 NVMe. It's an option, and it's definitely faster and more durable than a micro SD card. So I hope you found this helpful. If you have any questions, you could leave in the comment section below, and thanks for watching.